So the Trick or Treat Warzone event lasts for around the next 9 days or so, and this is an event where players can collect up to 16 rewards around the Warzone map, and then once they get all 16 rewards you can also get the bonus Pumpkin Punisher blueprint. And I know some people have been really struggling quite a bit with certain areas of the map getting those completed, so for example Superstore, the Dam and other places like that. So in today's video we'll discuss how to complete the Superstore area of Warzone as fast and easy as possible in this Trick or Treat event, because I know it can be quite frustrating as certain areas don't have a ton of supply crates and lots of people drop at Superstore and other areas, so it can be quite frustrating and annoying. But I'm going to show you guys how to get it done as easily and quickly as possible. Basically I'm going to go over the main supply crate locations at Superstore and then discuss the best approach and strategy for getting this done as best as possible without it being too rage inducing. I'll also throw in some quick tips to get the challenge done faster at Superstore, but if you want a more in-depth guide with all the Trick or Treat reward locations and a bunch of really great tips for completing easily, I recently made another video as a whole guide for completing the Trick or Treat event to help you get the challenge done so much faster, and so if you want to check out that video I'd highly recommend it if you're interested or need some help. I'll leave a card for that video on screen and I'll have a link in the description as well if you're interested in that. And I recommend that you guys stick around until the end of the video so you don't miss out on any important tips, as I'm going to be showing you how to complete this area of Warzone in the Trick or Treat event as fast as possible. Very quickly before we get into the video as well, I'm also doing a COD Points giveaway for the Season 6 Battle Pass, which if you win the COD Points you can put these towards the Halloween bundles in the store or anything else for that matter. So if you're interested in that, again I'll have a card on screen for that video for the giveaway, and there'll be a link in the description for that video, and there's rules in the description as well on how to enter the giveaway. Without further ado though, let's get into this guide. So as we said, for this Trick or Treat event challenge you need to find all 16 rewards around Verdansk if you want that Pumpkin Punisher bonus blueprint. Obviously going to Superstore will get you the corpse spray, and that'll be one of the 16 rewards, and it helps to go towards that bonus blueprint. So basically what you need to do is find crates throughout Verdansk that you can open, and every time you open one, for instance at Superstore, there's a chance that you'll find the reward for that region within that supply crate or loot box. It's worth quickly noting that not all crates on the map count, so you have to actually be at the specific area of Superstore. You can't be at the land around it between say Superstore and Storage Town or any of the other areas. You've actually got to be at the Superstore itself, and if you go just outside it sometimes there'll be crates there and they won't count, and the reason you'll know this is because the crates that count release confetti if you don't get a reward, or they're lit on fire if you open them, and then that means that the loot has been unlocked for that area and that area is complete. But whereas the crates that don't count just release a little bit of smoke, and it's as simple as that. So if you see a crate that's releasing smoke because you've gone just outside of the Superstore area, it means you're too far and you need to go back towards the Superstore. And for Superstore there are quite a few crates or places to go for, but the exact locations of the crates differ slightly from game to game, so you just got to keep that in mind. One crate you see one time will not always be there the next time, so bear that in mind. But let's quickly go over the main areas that you'll find most of the crates at Superstore, and then we'll talk about the strategy and modes and so on and so forth. So the best side of the store seems to be the side closest to Storage Town, which is the left side of the store if you're looking at it from the front. So obviously that's the side that seems to have the most crates, so it's probably worth going there. There's normally 1 to 2 crates on the lower roof of the store on the side I'm suggesting, so in the outside bit of that lower roof there'll be 1 to 2 crates there. There's also sometimes one straight inside the door in the corner, you can check there, and then past that crate along the corridor, and then on the left there's a room there which will often have one in it. Otherwise you can come back, go along the corridor to the left when you come in the door, and if you go straight ahead there's an office room which kind of overlooks the store. There can sometimes be one in there as well. If you come back a bit and turn just to your left to that room, there can also be one in there as well, so you've got to look out for all those. And obviously bear in mind sometimes when people drop in there'll be people waiting in corners to try and camp and kill you, so watch out for that and make sure you don't get killed by a camper because it can be very frustrating. There's also another door on the lower roof that goes into the other office overlooking the store. It's on the same side of the store but to the left a bit, so if you go back out onto the roof and to that door there's an office again there. There'll normally be one in there, and there can also be sometimes another one in that small room within that office, so it's worth having a look in there because not as many people go there, so that's less commonly found, so it's worth having a look at that one. And then sometimes as well, if you come back out of that office and back onto the lower roof, sometimes in the hut on the ground floor next to the lower roof, so if you jump down on there you'll see the hut, there's normally one in there as well. It's definitely worth having a look in there, and it's easy to go for, and sometimes it gets overlooked, so I definitely recommend that. And then after this you just want to check the downstairs area, basically the floor underneath the one you just checked, so the same area but just the floor below. So you can check downstairs, for example there'll be one in the back kitchen area, there'll be one at the customer counter, there'll be one in the store cupboard, and so on and so forth. So check the area below, there'll be some there as well, although whether they'll still be around and someone hasn't opened them, it's hard to say. But in quite a few games I was able to get at least 2 to 3 easily of the crates, and normally that's all you need. Normally on average it would be sort of 2 to 4 crates you need, but it can be as low as 1 crate you need to open. You haven't got to do it that many times for it to count. So That's kind of the main part of the store. There's other ones around the store, but that's the main area. If you've checked there and you still either the crates are opened or there just aren't crates there, then there's also some scattered around the store itself. So for example, there's one next to the several beds. So if you come out of that side, I'm suggesting walk towards the middle of the store. Partway along there's some beds against a wall and there's a crate sometimes in between those beds. I'll show you where I mean. That's the one that counted for me when I unlocked it. But there's also one on the scaffolding next to the rear exit at the back of the store, so check that one as well, although that's probably less likely to be available when you get to it if you start on the side I suggest. There's also one on the other side of the store in the corner, I'll show you that, and then also there's one in the back room on the other side of the store. So there's other ones as well, but those are kind of the main ones around the store, and I definitely recommend checking these out. Try and go to the main ones first with most of the crates, and if you can't find those, try and go for the other areas, and it's hopefully likely that one of those at least will be around, if not more. So those are the main supply crate locations. Now let's talk about the strategy of how to do this as quickly and easily as possible. So first of all, it's important to note that you need to listen out for the humming noise of unopened supply drops. If you hear that humming noise, it means a supply drop hasn't been opened, and so you need to go towards it to try and open it before anyone else does or before you get killed. And so you want to follow this noise to find the crates. The best mode to do this in is probably plunder, because you have immediate custom loadouts, you have infinite respawns, there's no gas or a circle closing in to worry about, nothing like that. So it's much more beneficial. However, a lot of people are currently trying to complete this trick or treat event, especially in plunder, because that's the go-to mode for it. So it can get very overcrowded with everyone going there. So if you find that plunder is probably too busy for you guys, I recommend trying to switch to other modes within Warzone. So for example, the normal battle royale mode, or the zombie royale mode, or the juggernaut mode. Those are all quite good, and I recommend trying to switch between those and see which one works for you. I was able to do it in plunder before, but obviously it's gotten more busy now, and so when I did it again on another account to find more crates to show you guys, the normal battle royale mode worked fine, and also the juggernaut mode can be good because a specific area of the map will be where you need to drop to get the juggernaut armor, and so obviously more people are going to be going towards that area to try and get it, so it gives you a little bit more space to try and get this loot from these crates. Having said that, obviously sometimes when you go into this mode, the hotspot to get the juggernaut gear is going to be right where you need to go, i.e. the Superstore. So it does happen only occasionally, but if you see that's the case, I would back straight out, because obviously everyone's going to be trying to go there anyway. Plus with this juggernaut mode, it's going to make it even more hectic. So if you see that happening, I'd just try and forget it and go into another game. So what about the actual strategy once we're in a game then? Well, I recommend trying to drop down onto that lower roof at the left hand side of the store, like I said, in the path I recommended, starting with the outside, going into that office on the one side, checking all that area, then the other office, then the hut on the ground floor, and then the downstairs area, and then into the middle of the store. That's the flow I'd work through the store to try and get as many crates opened as you can. However, if there are many people in that area, as you'll probably find quite a bit, it may be worth laying low temporarily, like for maybe 20-30 seconds, until a few of the players have killed each other off, i.e. you want to go to less popular parts of that store first. So for example, the left ground floor window, you can hop in there, look around the edge of the store for some crates, and around the beds for chests and so on. And especially you want to be doing this in normal battle royale, because players who die get sent to the gulag. So if you have several people shooting each other, they go to the gulag, they've got to worry about that, and then you can hop back in, focus on the crate. So it depends really. That seems to work quite well sometimes, if you find sometimes that an awful lot of people are going to that place and you think you're going to get overrun, but not always. So don't cower away. If you think you might be able to do it, then just rush in, try and go to these places and get the crates, and work your way throughout the store to try and get them done. Obviously this all depends on the game mode and how busy it is, like I say, and stuff like that. Now the other thing is that if the flight path is near or over the Superstore, is likely to get even more busy, so you need to try to go to the other areas first if this is the case. If you've got no more areas left, it might be worth trying to do it in another game, and you need to get to Superstore as soon as you start a game, like as soon as you spawn, drop out of the plane at the point where the plane is closest to the Superstore, then parachute down as fast as possible, get there as quick as you can, and if you die in a normal battle royale mode and you can't respawn, or like if it takes a while to, or if it seems like all the crates are gone, it's probably best just to either try a different area to try and complete that, or if this is the only area left, then literally just quit the match and join another lobby. That'll be the best way to do it. I'm also going to quickly cover the class setup as well. So because this is such a close quarters combat engagement, I really recommend either putting on something like a submachine gun such as the MP5, or a shotgun maybe with like Dragon's Breath round and a few more attachments like that. Having this on is really helpful because it normally downs players in 1 to 2 shots, and that's really useful for when you're in this close quarters combat when everyone's packed together trying to get these crates. So if you find you're getting into those kind of situations, put on something like an SMG or a shotgun with Dragon's Breath, like the R90 or the Model 680, and then just try and clear anyone that gets in your way. The secondary doesn't matter too much, you can put on a riot shield or whatever you want, but in terms of the perks, I'd recommend putting on something like double time in the first perk category. This doubles the duration of tactical sprint, you can run towards the crates faster. The second perk, you can put on something like ghost, so you're undetectable by UAVs, radar, drones, and then also heartbeat sensors. People sometimes camp and they're looking around for other enemies, so you can stay off the radar for them. And then finally in the third perk you can put on something like Tune Up, and this reduces the charge time of field upgrades by 40%, so you can get your field upgrade faster, which we'll talk about in just a second. For the equipment, I'd recommend putting on C4 for the lethals, so you can kill any enemies if you need to, and then the tactical I'd put on a stim shot, so you can heal yourself if you're injured. For the field upgrades, I recommend putting on Dead Silence. This gives you quiet footsteps and you can run faster, and this allows you to, like I say, obviously run faster towards the crates, but at the same time, many of the peripheral sounds when you activate this Dead Silence will be muffled and dimmed. So for example, footsteps, you won't really hear them from yourself or other people. Gunfire and explosions and stuff like that, you won't really hear it as much, and it makes the humming noise of a supply drop really easy to hear. So if you are not sure if there's any left and you're listening out for that supply drop, obviously you go into sound settings and turn the sound up, but you can also use this Dead Silence to listen out for any supply crates in the area so you can find them a little bit easier. Now, as I mentioned, if you need a much more detailed guide, there is a card on screen and a link in the description for that video guide for the whole trick or treat event, how to get all the locations completed and the best way to do that, all the locations, that kind of thing. So feel free to check that if you need to, and I'll also be covering other areas of the Warzone map which people need help with too, such as Dam and other places. So if you need help with that, check out my channel. Because it's the Haunting of Verdansk event, I've also made a video showcasing the new Saw bundle in the Modern Warfare store as well, covering whether this is worth the money, giving you some tips on how to get it a little bit cheaper and stuff like that. So if you're interested in seeing that, or you're thinking of buying a bundle, definitely recommend going to check that out, it'll be useful. Also feel free to enter my giveaway, like I say, for a chance to win some COD points. There'll be rules for that in the description, and if you need to check out any challenge guides for unlocking any of the new DLC weapons recently in the game, for example the Jack 12, I've got lots of those on my channel, so make sure to check them out. There's a playlist in the description and a card on screen. But thank you so much for watching, hope you found this useful. Be sure to leave a like on the video if it helped, because it really helps me out, and feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any upcoming Modern Warfare, Warzone or Black Ops Cold War videos. I've been Rage Gamer, and hopefully I'll see you all on the next video.